Thermogenesis is body temperature. Everybody is just trying to keep warm and keep in a homeostasis. Carbs. Gotta be 8 months old to eat this. Okay. Rub off on the guys at soccer here. I saw them bringing baby foods for their halftime carb up. They always have their little fruits, but they're like, oh, fuck that. I don't want to have to peel anything. It's all sandy at the beach. I just want that straight hit of sugar. Just give me some carbs. Just give me some baby food, Lauren. That's all I need. Quick story actually just comes to mind. He had like a full-on vertigo, low blood sugar on all fours, just can't breathe, can't see, going in circles. And lo and behold, I go running to our bag there, and I grab a baby food and I grab a water and I open it and I say, eat this. And he's like, no. I'm like, no, eat this. And everyone's like, eat. And he then, oh, and then he can like, okay, I'm gonna drink some water and, oh, that's good. Oh, I'm just gonna squeeze that whole baby. Like, it was like life, vitality, breath, sugar, everything that he needed in that moment came from a baby food. I didn't say, yeah, man, have this steak, you know, have this block of cheese, have this. What did Paul Saladino say? This is the greatest protein bar of all time, and he's holding a block of Parmesan. Lauren goes straight to the comment section and finds the guy who says like, yeah, man, that's like $100 protein bar you got there. It's just insanity, not to mention with the fat content and everything else. So that's not what he needed when he was collapsed, low blood sugar. What saved him was this, okay? Even someone who has a meat and dairy and carbs all mixed together diet, this is what saved him. This is what brought him back to life. And people will argue like, oh, glycation, oh, what about the glycation that all these people are going to suffer from? And it's coming from like a real negative, like smart ass kind of place. That's kind of like, ha 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 ha, you're all going to die. Like, yeah, we're all going to die one day, but you know, how do you get there? How do you live your life on your way? Are you full of light, or are you full of this like drudge and you want to like see other people's downfall and you promote misery instead of like doing something productive and something with purpose and spreading a message? So let's get to it. What is glycation? Glycation is the non-enzymatic binding of sugar to proteins or lipids in the body. This process creates AGEs, advanced glycation end products. So this is what your kidneys are filtering out. This is the job of the kidneys. And most people that have too much meat and too much fat in their diet constantly put their kidneys under an immense amount of unnecessary stress because they have to filter out all the extra waste because our body doesn't need the amount of protein, like people say 1-2 grams per pound body weight or kilo, whatever it is. And that's just an excessive amount for your body to handle. And it actually wants to pee it out. It doesn't do anything with the excess proteins. It damages your tissues and accelerates aging as if chronic or excessive. Glycation is a problem when sugars stay in the bloodstream for too long. Not because sugar is harmful, but because of what else is present in the blood, especially fat. High carb, low fat prevents glycation. Efficient in glucose clearance. In a low fat, high carb diet, your insulin sensitivity is optimized. Glucose enters the cell quickly to be used for energy, not left lingering in the bloodstream. That minimizes glycation because sugar doesn't have the time to bind to the proteins. This is why high carb cultures and plant-based eaters often have excellent A1C, fasting glucose, and insulin sensitivity. Fat in the blood slows blood glucose uptake. A high-fat diet like keto, carnivore, or standard American diet, fat blocks the glucose transporters. Cells become insulin resistant. Sugar stays in the blood longer. Glycation risk increases, especially when carbs are consumed on top of fat. This is why a cheeseburger with a soda causes more glycation than a bowl of fruit or rice. It's the fat and the sugar combo that's harmful, not sugar alone. Why protein and fat cause more metabolic stress? Protein requires conversion, gluconeogenesis, which everyone says, oh. So it's like, if I could get one point across for this video, it's that a high carb individual doesn't have to use extra energy or put the body in any more stress than it already is in just living in life, okay? The energy that is given from strict, simple, and complex carbs is exactly what your body knows what to do with quickly and uses it. When we rely on proteins and fat, and you call yourself fat adapted, you're basically in a starvation mode because all of your hormones drop, metabolically dysfunctional, and you're very stiff. For example, if you ever have any carbs on a keto diet, your blood sugar just goes fucking crazy and it goes up through the roof, and you have no wherewithal how to regulate because you're so intolerant to carbohydrates that your body has to like break itself down to give you energy instead of just taking the energy from the carbs, saying thanks, and moving on. It's like adding 3 extra steps to your day. And then over time, you just become worse and worse at doing this. So your body has to work harder to turn amino acids into glucose. This is a stress response. It's not efficient. That's the bottom line. If you're running on fat and protein, you're not running an efficient machine. And if you want to talk about us being a machine, you want to put the right fuel in it. It's like putting diesel in a car that runs on gasoline. That's like, what are you doing? You would always say to that person, what are you doing? Do not mix that. But here we are, and everybody's confused, and nobody knows what diet to follow, and everyone wants to blame sugar because of what their system has already been accustomed to and what you've already metabolically dysregulated and made a total mismanagement of your system. It raises your cortisol and your waste, so this burdens your kidneys over time. So fat is slow, oxygen-intensive fuel. Fat oxidation is slower and requires more oxygen per ATP than carbs. It's inefficient for high-energy tasks, recovery, or mental focus. Excess fat leads to lipid buildup, inflammation, and worsened insulin sensitivity, which I've said time and time over again on this channel. Carbs are the preferred fuel for the brain, red blood cells, kidneys, muscles run primarily on glucose. Carbs are clean burning, quick, and hydrating. In the absence of excess fat, they do not glycate tissue significantly. High carb diets are used therapeutically to reverse type 2 diabetes, kidney stress, high blood pressure, insulin resistance, precisely because they restore metabolic function, not damage it. High carb, low fat restores your metabolic function, doesn't damage it, doesn't overburden the kidneys and the liver. Your body is constantly trying to clean up, especially when you overburden it with these proteins and fats. So this is why it's like you do 10 days of rice and sugar and fruit and juice and honey and maple syrup, and you're having starches, you're having veggies, you're having fruits, you're not just eating candy, because that's the reality of this diet, is you're not just eating candy. And then you go and you have a steak. Your body now becomes confused. This is why consistency is so important. You have to be consistent with this to see results, you know? It's like what you do every day matters. And if you go ahead and give your body that burger and fries and pop and everything all mixed in, your body is just like, oh goodness, like now what am I gonna do? I was just starting to heal and rev things up and start to change towards the metabolism that I'd like. And then here we go. I'm all confused again, and now my body has to do it all over again with the kidneys and get everything through. So that's why it's not useful. Like, cheat days are not useful, and you're kind of being fallen to the emotional attachment to food and how the movies display it, and how every holiday that you've ever had has been centered around food and birthday cakes and retirement parties and new job parties and bachelor parties, and it's just like Easter, whatever it is, there's a party, there's a reason to kind of fall off track. You meet up with a friend for someone that you haven't seen for a long time. This is why it is so important for people, especially who are coming from a very meat-centered, high protein, high fat, low carb phase, is your body is just waiting for you to give it what it wants. And now that you've finally started, you can't fall off. You just can't if you want to see results and if you want your metabolism to actually change. In all things, the fire is hidden. Only by knowledge can it be revealed. So that's from the Emerald Tablets. In all things, the fire is hidden. Only by knowledge can it be revealed. The fire is life force, your metabolic power, cellular energy, ATP, and thermogenesis. It is hidden in food until unlocked by digestion and metabolism. Carbohydrates release this fire instantly. They ignite glycolysis, the fastest pathway to produce usable energy. Fat and protein delay this fire. They must be broken down, converted, and taxed from the system, extinguishing internal reserves to keep the fire alive. Glucose is a clean fire. Fat is a damp wood. Protein is burning your own furniture. Glucose is a clean fire. Fat is damp wood. Protein is burning your own furniture. There are many that have come before us. There are many interesting historical accounts of what we humans considered important and how we saw the world and how we energetically adapted to what is around us. So, in my opinion, in my own research, in what I'm reading about and finding out every day, and in my own experience, it is always going to be that carbohydrates is that source. Carbohydrates is the key to having a good, well-balanced life. You know, anybody can lose weight on a calorie deficient. Anybody can lose weight by just dehydrating themselves. Anybody can lose weight by cutting carbs. These are not like, amazing. These aren't amazing things. Any big deal, you can lose weight, but can you keep it off? And can you be healthy? Can you perform? Can you do the things that you want to do with your life? Do you have a healthy libido? Do you have healthy relationships? Are you able to produce something, to teach something, to go out there in the world, to make something, to be creative, to have fun with yourself, to have fun with others, to be strong, to go for a run, to go for a walk, to go for a jumping rope? Are you in shape for these things when you're cutting weight? When you're sacrificing, when you're burning the own furniture of your home to stay alive? Or using wet wood to keep a fire. Like, this is not the ideal. It is possible, and our body will adapt to these conditions, but it is always under a huge sacrifice mentally and physically. And these are the last resorts. And this is not what is the abundance of the world is not from fat and protein. If you look around and you get in touch with what you see, it's carbs. Everything is carbs. Like, you are the carbon they want to reduce. Like, it's so clear as day, and I really hope that this video hits home with somebody. And I also hope I hit some people over the head and they go like, I gotta unsubscribe. This girl is so crazy. So appreciate you all being here, and I will see you in the next one.